Morning world, welcome to Thursday 8th of August, and first stop for me today, Bristol. Man off checking his edges. Right, so the tree guys are in Bristol today. We're working for a secondary school during the summer break holidays. I'm on my way there myself. It's quite a big job. Small sort of 1 day, half day jobs, maybe even a couple of day jobs, or places I've been to before. I don't normally do this, but this is quite a big job. It's for a fairly new client, so I'm off there to do site induction, which is basically to walk through the entire job with the team to make sure they know exactly what they're doing and how we're going to do it. So, yeah, it's just one of my jobs. And back to the farm again. It is now nearly lunchtime, so spent a couple of hours in the city, not in the heart of the city, sort of down end part of Bristol, but it's still city as far as I'm concerned. Spent a couple of hours there, had a couple of meetings, some very positive meetings, so hopefully if I play my cards right and don't do anything daft, that's going to secure quite a bit of work for the tree team for, well, hopefully for a few years. Just got to play our cards right and not do anything daft. Anyway, while I was away, Tim's been in. Excuse me, Mrs. P just made me a milky coffee and I really enjoyed it. Tim's been in. He dropped off his flying carpet yesterday and he's obviously already put it to work because the barge board is now off the edge of the building here. He needed to take that off because he's got to take some measurements, some datum points, because the way we poured the concrete slabs, there's a couple of ways you can do this. If you're on the level, it's fine. You could literally pour all the slabs with a laser level, pour them all at exactly the same depth, which means all your legs are at the same depth. But because there's probably 12 to 14 inch difference between the level of that leg and that hole up there, although this hole is quite deep. Yeah, it's not level. Might even be nearly a metre actually. Fall on that. So basically Tim's got to take measurements from that leg, these here, all in relation to that. So each and every leg here will be bespoke. They'll be made to fit. So when he comes in next week, when he's welded it all up together and painted it, basically you bolt the legs down and everything along the top should be dead level. So yeah, we've taken this end off and we've done the same the other side. So I came in yesterday, spent a few hours yesterday and cleaned most of this out. I'm going to just let this dry off a little bit more and then I'm going to come back in here and scratch the top off this again. Got to get that out of there. Probably going to take the crush out and the gates off over there and clean all that out there as well. And then the floor in here, once I've got as much off as I can, bearing in mind this is a stone floor, so I can't really dig it. But I could get the deuce in here and just that four foot bucket scratch top off, might do that. And get the last of it out, and then we are going to lime the floor. So the floor will be white, or whiter. And once we've limed the floor, wash the walls, we'll probably wash the walls first by the way, wash the walls, fammed them, so that would be a liquid disinfectant, which is an iodine based disinfectant on that. While I'm at it, I will probably put a couple of glugs of FAM in there, clean that out as well, same that end, clean that out, yeah, and then we'll be disinfected. Then I can sign my declaration for the ministry and they can go, oh, well done, Mr. Pullen, you've cleaned your barn, well done, pat on the back. Something like that. So, right, Okay. So yeah, boards are off this end as well. So yeah, right to the very end. So literally all of this, right to the cap. Not quite sure, I presume this end board we're gonna have to cut. Looks like we've broken one. We're gonna have to cut that or have something, I don't know. I'll let Tim sort that out. But yeah, so that's it. Measurements taken. Now it's just a case of go away, get the steel in, cut it, weld it, paint it, get it here, put it up. I was trying to work out in my head what was different, and then it just clicked. It's the top door. We rarely, if ever, open that top door. That's skid steer height. So when I'm coming in at the barn with a skid steer, about there. So we keep that up there. So we keep the weather out. It might be a case of now we've got a roof over here. We don't really need that top door. We may actually find employment for that somewhere else now. Yeah, that was something I hadn't thought of actually. We really won't need that door. And to be honest, we don't even really need that door. I could put a gate on there now and put that door somewhere else. It's got me thinking, that has. The only reason we had a door on there was to shut the weather out. Weather's not going to be an issue because that's going to be clad. I mean, we may not do this straight away. We might wait a little while before we do this, but 2 doors. I mean, there are 15 foot between those posts, so that door will fit there, there, in here, out there. I could literally, if I wanted to, put a couple of hinges on and put that big door across there. And that will give the cattle a bit of wind buffer that way. They might appreciate that. Or I could move that feed rail, put the door across there, and just have this a bit more covered in. So I could have the big door across there and maybe the short door down here with a draft underneath. Yeah, and literally just put a 14-foot gate or 15-foot gate across there, and that'll allow more air this way. Quite important ventilation for cattle. So yeah, I hadn't even thought about that until I noticed that top door was open, which possibilities.